I don't know how I've managed to do it, but somehow there's this recurring cold and it just keeps going back and forth and being passed on between people. And I've started, I have a child I teach once a week, and she's very, very affectionate. And her parents asked me to teach her personally. She's very affectionate. I absolutely adore her. And she likes to give me hugs. And I believe when she gives me hugs, she's passing a lot on to me. Anyway, the purpose of this video today was to talk about the creativity process and how in so many situations it will save your life, okay? There will come a time in your life, in all of our lives, where things aren't going according to plan, the world feels a bit unstable, just things around us just feel generally quite bad. We are not content, we are scared, we're afraid, and we just feel a bit out of place. This is where your creativity will really help pull you through. And it's why since I was a child, since childhood, I've always believed that you need to have some sort of hobby. You need to have something you're passionate about. I find it very suspicious. Suspicious is the wrong word. I find it rather odd when people say, oh, I don't have any hobbies, or I don't have anything I'm really passionate about. I like my job, and they work in corporate. For me, that is fairly bizarre. There has to be something you're passionate about. Anything from trees to hikes to waterfalls, writing, weaving, embroidery, anything like that. There has to be something you enjoy so much you could just spend hours and hours doing it. That is your passion, and we all need to find it. Because in this world of instability and in this world of chaos, it really does help at that moment to lean into it. And I have so many subscribers to the channel sort of reaching out and saying they are struggling, and they are, there's a lot of, I think, at the moment, I don't know why, well, maybe perhaps we all know why, but there are a lot of people struggling, and there are a lot of people who feel very depressed, and they feel very negative about their future. And I would say that the world has gone through worse times. Worse things have happened. And we've always been positive. And I think you have to have something you love, something that you can really lean into. Because if you don't lean into it, if you don't have a passion, you just fall into the trap of always being pulled into other people's drama, other troubles, other news, negative news cycles. And I was speaking to a friend yesterday. I met a friend for coffee, and I got very excited because we were talking about books, and I said I was reading a book. At the moment, I like to read thrillers. I'm in my thriller era. I love thrillers, very dark crime thrillers. And he said, oh, I started reading The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I almost choked on my coffee because that series of books is one of the best thrillers I have ever read. It's so dark. And I asked him, he was telling me about it, and I said, yeah, it's an amazing series, because I previously recommended it to people, but no one had really taken me up on it because they thought it would be too dark for them. And when he mentioned he was reading it, his face lit up, and he was just like amazed by the story and the series, and he's going through it. He's like a slow reader, but I'm quite fast. I like to just snuggle up for the weekend, lock all my doors, stay in with my dogs, and just read to my heart's content. However, when I asked him, I said, have you been observing anything else in the world or whatever? He had no idea, because for the last week, he had been so stuck in his series. And this is what we all need to do. We all need to find that one thing that gives us comfort and that takes us away, and that in a way stokes up our childhood, stokes up our inner childlike feelings. Because I believe that it was in our childhood that was when we were the most like carefree and most, our minds were untethered by anything difficult. We had no difficulties as, most of us had no difficulties as children. A lot of people had fairly happy childhoods, and for the people who had fairly unhappy childhoods and just had bad memories, then create good memories, create a safe space for yourself, create a reading nook. I don't have a reading nook at the moment. I used to have one when I was in my old flat in London, and it was amazing, and I had like wall-to-wall books, and it was just beautiful, and I used to just sit by the window and read on rainy days, and it was just amazing. And I don't have that here, and I do miss it. I miss it a lot. So in my next place, I'm definitely going to recreate one. But if you don't have that safe space for your hobby, create a safe space. Create a space where you and only you can go into, retreat, disappear, and just do your thing. And when the world gets too loud and too chaotic, you can just retreat, and you don't have to follow the news, you don't have to follow what's going on, but you can always find peace. You can always find peace. And you know what? I just have this, maybe I'm just positive, I don't know. But I just believe that the world is a beautiful place, and I think that all the ugliness screams the loudest, but the beauty is very quiet, which for me is makes it all the more beautiful as well. And just find your happiness and find your peace, find your hobbies, find your creativity. Whether it's painting, writing, whatever it is. Someone is slamming something somewhere. And it breaks my heart, it absolutely breaks my heart to hear adults say, oh, we don't have any passions, there's nothing we really care about. We want to make money, we want to pay the bills. And I think that's all well and good, but you need something you love. Something you're passionate about, something you adore doing, something you can spend hours and hours doing. And for me as a child, that was reading and writing. I know people who can draw, I know people who love, walking in woodland, no matter the weather. I know people who love going out in the snow and camping, which for me is crazy. I know people who love cycling for hours. I love cycling, and when I cycle, I daydream a lot, so I'm actually not the safest cyclist because I tend to get into my head and I start to think of something, and I've actually gone into like a bush, a hedgerow before, and just like fallen right into it. So that was the purpose of this. And to all of you who are feeling a bit cast aside, bereft, just like you feel like you're very aimless, I think a lot of people feeling that way, and I think that you need to lean into your creature comforts. You need to spend more time alone, or perhaps spend more time with friends and healthy people, people who will who will discuss books with you and discuss maybe your favorite independent movies and your favorite hobbies, and who will go for hikes with you, who you can tell your stories to if you write, and just find comfort in those people and find solace in them, and just find your only little piece in the world. And that's all I ask. And obviously, if you are truly if there is a severe depression, then I would suggest you seek help from I don't know, depending on what country you're in, because some countries have amazing mental health facilities and others don't, and some people still don't believe mental health is actually a thing. But seek help from the nearest professional you can, because it's very, very important to keep your mental health, to keep your mind healthy, and to keep your body healthy as well. So I hope this helps. I'll be back on with a live stream soon. I'm still very, very tired at the moment, and I keep getting this cold over and over again, and it just keeps getting passed around. And I just feel like we all keep falling ill. Like, not ill where we're bed bound and ill, but it keeps happening over and over again, and it's so bloody funny. Okay, I'm still writing. Keep writing, keep being inspired, and I hope inspiration finds you all. Okay, goodbye. Have a lovely day.